Hey, everybody. I have such an incredible guest here today. She's a really good friend, another woman who I can very easily say, I feel like I've known her all of my life and I could talk to her all day long. Mary, please let everybody know your full name and what you do.
Okay. Good morning, Francesca. My name is Mary Ciammetti, and I am the founder of the CTC Wellness Foundation, and better known as Don't Stall, Just Call, an alcohol poisoning education or an alcohol education mission. Thank you.
Yeah, it's an incredible mission. And, in the conversations that we've had, Mary, we've connected on this topic and the education and the learning that you've made available. But let's take it back and explain to people the revelation or that aha moment that you had that brought you to create this organization. I would love to hear the story and share it with everybody else out there.
Okay, thank you. Great question. I never imagined in a million years that I would be doing the work that I'm doing. But unfortunately, after a phone call in 2015 saying that our son was in the hospital, we didn't know what was going on. Turns out he had alcohol poisoning from an evening of binge drinking, or better known now as high intensity drinking. We had no idea what that was. And through a week of being on life support and then taking him off, we took Christian off of life support on January 24th, 2015. And our whole lives changed with that phone call. The week in the hospital, I was finding and uncovering bits and pieces of what had happened, what apparently his lifestyle was at school that I had no idea about. Christian has two brothers and a sister. We had no idea that this, really was going on. And I just want to say, Francesca, as, a mom who went away to school, who I thought I knew what kids do at college, and it was all something else and more than I ever could have imagined. So once we got home from the hospital, and I was at home grieving, and I am sorry for everybody that has loss and child loss, especially because it's so horrible. And it's always the top thing at the front of your mind. But what happened with the time that I had at home before I had to go back to work was, once I started to be able to even use a computer again and to sit up, and I started researching alcohol poisoning. And what I was finding out was that this has been happening all the time. And it's happening often, every weekend, in people's basements, at college campuses, and it's a secret. And I thought, my God, if you were in a restaurant and you saw somebody with their hands up at their neck, you would know to go over to them and help them and give them the Heimlich maneuver. So instead, I thought, my God, why are we not teaching our young people, especially before they go off to college, what the symptoms of alcohol poisoning are, so we can help save a life? And in other words, don't stall when you see it, just call, get some help. But then we found out that much of the issue is that the students, the young people, the underage, are not making phone calls because they're afraid of getting in trouble. So then I started working towards finding out more about medical amnesty, and in the state of Pennsylvania, and then in the United States of America as a whole. So I connected with someone from the Medical Amnesty Initiative, and it's just been
so wide,
an avalanche of gathering information and how we can make things better for our future, for our kids, for now my grandchildren. At the time, we had just had our first grandchild, and now he's 7, and there's 6 more or 5 more after him. And so we are blessed with that. But I tell you, I am not stopping. We need to educate our kids. And for a lot of parents who think, oh no,
Right.
it's just a rite of passage.
Mm.
I'm saying I don't want it to be a rite of passing, because our culture is accepting they're glamorizing the use of, alcohol, the
Right.
big mommy wine things. It's
Right.
what are the messages we're sending our kids?
Right.
So
We're not saying it's not going to happen, right, Mary? We're saying it's going to happen. However, there's polar opposite of having a good time and then just crossing that horrible line. And then you just need to recognize these signals and signs. So what are some of them? What are some of, like, maybe the top three, or what do you typically, because I know you do presentations, Mary, and you're very active in offering all that you know and learn as you go along. What types of things should we be looking for?
So let me just say and give a shout out to Temple University. Christian was a student at Temple, and I worked actually with the people at Temple, the School of Public Health, to come up with the symptoms that could be put on a magnet that could be used. Actually, I wanted it to be called a door bulletin, but that was like an issue, but it can be put on refrigerators in the college dorm rooms. And so we've created these magnets with the symptoms of alcohol poisoning, and the symptoms are stumbling, mumbling, unresponsive, cool to touch, and vomiting. And I just want to say one thing about the vomiting part, not that anybody wants to hear about it really, but not everybody vomits.
Get sick, right? Not everybody gets sick.
There's just people that actually don't do it. Their body doesn't work that way. But then other times the poisoning is affecting all your major organs and they can't vomit, and that's why they aspirate and then they pass because of that.
Wow.
So that is really, really important to know. But I just want everyone to know that I worked with the people at the School of Public Health there in order to come up with this. It wasn't me. I mean, we collaborated.
Sure.
And they have been nothing but supportive and wonderful down at Temple. And
that's great.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. And then, then they serve as a role model to other universities and institutions, because it's called University City for a reason. There are a lot of Pennsylvania's best schools in that area, and they can feed off each other with programs like this and support systems like this. Having it on the refrigerator, I think that's a brilliant way of lightly introducing it, but just to be aware. We're not saying it's not going to happen, but we need to just understand
Francesca, just what you said is that, we do not condone underage drinking ever.
Right.
But we know that it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Because people are going to choose that. But if you're going to choose it, learn what the signs are so you can help one another. And the really hard part is when there's one young person, and it doesn't have to be a young person either, because the demographic for the highest rate of death caused by alcohol poisoning is middle-aged men, not college students. And nobody knows that, because that also is something that is hidden in the closet. So anyway, what was I saying? The important part is that, if there's like a couple friends out there drinking, they might not be making the best choices. And then at the time when somebody needs help, often somebody feels uncomfortable or they don't think it's that important, because when we're not sober, we can tend not to, make great choices. So anyway, if we continue with layers of education and just having those magnets on refrigerators when students may be at parties and like, oh, wow, wait, oh, they're exhibiting those symptoms, we need to make a call. We also have on our magnets, we have a line about medical amnesty. And that is so important that the kids know that they can, like in Pennsylvania at Temple, I'm just going to use Temple as an example, Drexel University as well. They have a wonderful policy. They want their students to live. They want them to make the call with limited legal immunity. They may have to go to a class, but they're not going to be kicked out of school,
Right.
No. So
it's important for them to know, what will happen. And the good news is that you're keeping people alive, excuse me, right? By understanding the signs, the signals, and the reaction. And I'm so sorry that you had to go through this, but, in the conversation that we had, you have a message now that you're sharing, which is amazing, Mary, with everyone else. And it's a generous gesture on your part, the time and energy that you spend, because it's your full-time thing, right? And I think it's just brilliant. So, excuse me. So if you had one last thing you wanted to summarize about the importance of this program, how can we as a community, as a collective here listening to you, what can we do to help this mission?
Great question.
Thank you.
I think that everyone should be more educated about truly like the dangers of alcohol. And by the way, like I drink, it's not like I don't drink. I just want people to be aware and how we need to shift the cultural norms about the binge drinking, and that every time we celebrate it, hey, it's great to have a drink, but we don't have to have 8.
Right.
Somehow within our families, within our homes, this is where we need to start. That no, it's not okay. And it's not okay to be laughing at somebody when they're exhibiting these symptoms.
Right.
It's never okay.
Right.
We need to be our brother's keeper. And if someone ever sees someone drunk, they should never leave them alone, ever.
Right.
And they should make a call and get them help and possibly save their life. And one other thing I want to say is that with our presentations, I think what is so important, it's just not about numbers. It's about stories. So when we tell our audience these stories, not only Christian stories, but other stories, and they learn from them, and then they learn what to do, how to do it. And then they're the testimonials that we receive saying, Christian saved a life. Mrs. Ciammetti, I did this because of you. And that is a good thing.
It's a great thing, Mary. Thank you so much. So in all of these great presentations, do you have something in particular that you wear that gives you a sense of power and confidence? What is it? Is it an accessory, an article of clothing that really lights you up, and so that you're like, I'm ready to deliver this message with all the strength that you just had in delivering it today? I
do have a pair of boots that I really love, and they're not real snakeskin, but they look like they're snakeskin, and they're kind of pink and black and tan, I guess. And whenever I put them on, I don't even need to wear socks with them too. I love it. And they're so comfortable, and I always feel good and powerful, I guess I can say. I feel good in them. They give me strength.
I love that. That's the exact right answer. Mary, sunshine of the day, if someone wanted to continue this incredible conversation with you and learn more, or perhaps bring this program to their place of business or wherever, where's the best place that they can reach you, Mary?
Well, info@don'tstalljustcall.org. That reaches me at the website, or Mary C at don'tstalljustcall.org. No, there is no apostrophe and don't when you're in a website. And then also on LinkedIn, you can look up Mary Ciammetti.
Okay.
That's it.
Yep, for sure. I will put all of those links in the show notes so that it makes it very easy for people to find you, to find this incredible message. I thank you for your generosity today, Mary. It's just been an honor to hear the story, and I'm happy to share it with others so we can help other people too.
I appreciate it greatly. Thank you so much, Francesca.
Thank you, my friend. Have an awesome day.